For 30 years, Lord Berkeley Conservation Trust has worked to protect the special places that are in our low country. Fort Fairlawn is important for its historic character and its opportunity to see and observe wildlife.
South Carolina's growth rate is at an astonishing pace right now. With the influx of new folks coming here, which we welcome, that brings a demand for housing, a demand for shopping, a demand for schools, a demand for infrastructure, all on the same land base. So we have rapidly closing window, in my opinion, to save these sites.
The Fort Fairlawn project for us is part of the South Carolina Liberty Trail. It's an ambitious project and another project in which we're partnering with yet another agency, the American Battlefield Trust in Washington, D.C. The Liberty Trail's ambition is to interpret and/or preserve 80 Revolutionary War battlefield sites across the state of South Carolina. Fort Fairlawn is one of those keys in this trail. And what was uncovered at Fort Fairlawn is a real compelling story. We located the British camp. We know where the footprint of the British camp sits outside of the redoubt. Some of the artifacts we found, lots of dropped lead balls. That was predictable. We find those frequently at sites, but we found one really amazing artifact. We found a button from a British uniform that was the 71st Regiment of Foot, Fraser's Highlanders, and they at one time were the garrison for Fort Fairlawn, a really infamous unit within the British Army. If you want to talk about the bad boys of that army, Fraser's Highlanders fit that bill in a big way. We knew that the Colleton Castle site was nearby, and of course in history they were all connected. It was all part of Fairlawn Barony, owned by the Colleton family.
The outpost at Fairlawn consists of the Redoubt Earthworks Fort and a half a mile away a fortified brick mansion called the Colleton Castle. The British are manning both situations in November of 1781, and General Francis Marion has ordered 3 Southern Campaign's heroes to attack the fort at Fort Fairlawn. They are South Carolinian Hezekiah Mayhem, Tennessean John Sevier, and then with a Kentuckian Isaac Shelby. And they attack this fort as well as the house, realizing that the fort is serving its purpose of protecting the British all too well, and they besiege the fortification, which is also filled with supplies, intelligence, communication, and wounded from the Battle of Eutaw Springs back in September. And the Colleton Castle surrenders to the Patriots, thus making the main purpose of the Fairlawn outpost fail in middle of November 1781.
Historians and battlefield archaeologists now say that Fort Fairlawn is one of the most important artifacts from the Revolutionary War, in that it is one of the very few Revolutionary War battlefields in their original conditions. And like so many of these battlefields, like Fort Fairlawn was at one point in time, they were a bit lost to history. And now we are bringing them back to life, and local land trusts and the Battleground Preservation Trust are certainly leading the charge.
The Battleground Trust, we specialize in preserving battlefields and historic military sites. Lord Berkeley Trust has a broader mission in this part of the state. And so we brought expertise they didn't have. They brought local connections and relationships in Berkeley County. And so the marriage of those two, I think, was a smart decision from the outset.
Everyone knows that our area is changing at a rapid pace. And in the midst of that change, there are special places like Fort Fairlawn that are worthy of protection. And that's what we do at the Trust, is identify those unique opportunities and act to make sure they're protected.
It's more than just saving land or saving historic buildings. It's really cultural. It's about saving the unique features and places and pastimes of our home.
Most people see our work, but don't realize how hard we've labored to make it happen. They're paddling along a stretch of uninterrupted forests on a river. They're enjoying wildlife at a park like Fort Fairlawn, and they have no idea of all the work that we put in. But that's really our purpose, is to protect these places for future generations so that folks might not even know we were there.